Okay, we'll get started now. Thanks for joining, everyone. Sorry about any issues that you had getting into the webinar. I'm excited to be able to present this webinar today. We're launching Web Messenger. It's going to be available soon, and the goal is to cut your SMS costs in half. So let's get started. So what can you expect from this webinar? We'll give you an overview of Web Messenger. We'll go over the benefits that you'll see at CCG, practice and patient level. And you'll also get a closer look at the patient experience. And then there's some extra nice bits as well, like make your own surveys, etc. So who's on the call today? It's myself, Matt Freestone, Marketing Manager for MJog. We've got Brendan Goodjohn, he's Customer Engagement Manager. And we've got Fraser Jennings, Flagship Program Manager. Those guys are in the chat and they're answering any questions you may have. So feel free to ask questions in the questions panel. They'll get back to you and we'll save the best ones until the end as well. So why does the NHS need Web Messenger? You get a 50% reduction in SMS costs, and that's key. By releasing and cutting those SMS costs, you release budget into healthcare. So the average CCG is saving about 137,000, and that's a lot of budget to release back into the healthcare system. It'll also increase patient engagement amongst the patient population, and it removes the need to download an app. Plus, you can also give practices and clinicians the freedom to create their own interactive templates and surveys. Best thing, it's free. So MJog Messenger is going to be free for all CCGs across the UK, health boards and PCNs and large groups as well. So let's take a closer look. And I've got a video to show you.
SMS messages have become part of the daily routine for many clinicians, with each one costing around 1.55p. Across the country, this results in hundreds of thousands of messages being sent daily, costing the NHS tens of thousands of pounds every single day. That's why MJog has built Web Messenger, designed to keep costs down and improve patient engagement. Long SMS messages like this are difficult to read, cost a lot for what they are, and you can't include images or video. Web Messenger magically squashes long SMS messages into a link and displays a more engaging message on the internet. With Web Messenger, patients get more information from their practice and can watch videos and view pictures easily. Plus, they're even easier to reply to. As long SMS messages cost 1.55p per segment, this message costs over 4.5p. With Web Messenger, that same message costs just 1.55p, saving 2/3 of the cost. An average CCG in the UK will see savings of over £10,000 per month by using Web Messenger. Plus, patients will receive more engaging messages. Web Messenger, coming soon and available for free. Ready to save?
So what are the benefits for Web Messenger? You're going to get big cost savings. The average CCG saves £137,000. With some saving up to 235,000. And I think the key thing here is to say that this is only MJog text that we're talking about here. So if you're sending lots of text by other providers, moving those text messages onto the MJog system, you'll actually be able to save even further. There's no app to download. You increase engagement. You can control replies from patients with buttons. And you can add on extra information like clickable links and buttons for things like email, phone, and directions. And send engaging messages for no extra cost. You can also send messages of any length. Web Messenger has no limit. I think it's about 300,000, but essentially no limit on how long you can send these messages. Fraser has put the link to the YouTube video in the chat now. I would recommend that you watch that as well. We can watch it, hopefully watch it together at the end. Very sorry about that. It would be the way. So how can you sign up to Web Messenger? We're taking pre-registrations now. Just head to mjog.info/web-messenger. We can also get that link in the chat for you to click and pre-register. Like I said, it's absolutely free for all CCGs across the UK. And how it works. This is absolutely key. One of the questions we've been getting, that we've been getting on from our pilot sites and when talking to CCGs already. How does the system work? So the way it works is that practice will write a long message, typically 4 segments or so. What MJog does is it converts it to smart, and the patient receives a 1-segment SMS with a web link. The video would have shown you this, unfortunately. Patient clicks and then reads an engaging message online securely. So what Web Messenger has done, it has removed those 3 segments from your long SMS message, delivered it in just 1 SMS segment, and that way your costs are actually cut by 75%. So the difference between MJog Messenger and Web Messenger, we do have 2 products here. So MJog Messenger is our messaging app, available from the Play Store and the Apple App Store. The Messenger app obviously requires the app to be downloaded. We know that a lot of practices have trouble with encouraging patients to download an app, so this will solve that problem. Delivery of a smart message would have been limited to how many patients have the app. So we have some clinicians who have done a really amazing job and they've got 50% or more of their patients on the app. However, some practices really struggle. Some people just don't want to download the app. So MJog Messenger stops, Web Messenger stops that issue. And the other benefit from MJog Messenger, the app, patients can view previous messages like a typical inbox. On Web Messenger, there's no app to download at all. You get guaranteed delivery to every patient mobile phone, assuming the number is correct. But patients can't read their previous messages. So each message is delivered separately. There's no inbox for the patient. There is obviously an inbox on the MJog side, just not on the patient side. So this video hopefully will work as it's embedded in the slide here. This is what the Messenger app looks like. So this is on our test environment, hence the polka dots that you'll probably see. So when the message comes in here, you can easily see that the message to the patient is quite a long questionnaire. This has been designed entirely in our interface here. So you can have essentially anything that you like. What's your favorite direction here? Or, developers got quite a funny sense of humor, and then it's nice and easy to send back. So that's what it looks like in our app. Nice and easy to use. However, Web Messenger is slightly different. So I will control this video and pause it a bit because it runs a little bit fast. So the patient will receive a text message. And in that text message, you will then have a link there. So you can see our interface down here. Just move my mouse over here. So you have a text message, just 1 segment with a link. And it's obviously our testing link. And then what happens is they click that, it loads up a secure web page. And there you go, just gone straight through to there. So then it will load up the same message essentially, just on a secure web page. And this can easily be responded to. Everything can be clicked and adapted. And this can all be built by the practice or the clinician. And it can also be built at CCG level too. So easy way to basically get lots of data, get it all coded back, and nice and easy for the patient. So as soon as they click send, that will say, okay, the message has been sent and lots of information has been transferred. This can also be designed in pretty much any way that you like. So what are the benefits to CCGs, PCNs, and health boards? Obviously, huge savings. I keep going on, but they are absolutely astronomical. So these cost savings have been calculated over a year, from November last year to November this year, using a sample of our MJog CCGs. And of course, if you're sending messages with other providers, and then if you move them onto MJog, you'll also see savings there as well. Increased delivery to patients, make sure they get the same message, and increase uptake of other services. So MJog is, we're keen to work with people like Footfall, QDoctor, etc., and we also will help the uptake of other services like asthma clinics, weight loss clinics, etc. And messages can be deployed centrally by MJog, fitting the needs of CCGs. So if you have a template that you want to get out to all your practices, nice and easy for us to do. So what are the benefits to practices and clinicians? I know we have a mixed group on the webinar today, so let's take a look. Replies from patients are easy to digest. So it's either a quick button, they can click reply in any way that you like, really. So it's up to you to decide how they reply. They don't have to just rely on a keyword responder. That would you typically have to respond saying decline or accept, etc. So you can actually put buttons on there that patients can click, nice and easy. It can integrate with your existing systems, Footfall, Whereby, and drive patients to your website for triage. More information on that coming later as well. Bit of a sneak peek. You can have branded message templates. This is key. So on SMS messages, they're quite plain, they're quite boring. You don't really get any branding. It's not obvious who they're from. With a web messenger message, it's really easy to top and tail your message with practice information, branding, images, up to you. We can really make them look really great. You can also create your own patient surveys. So I know this is a huge request across the healthcare community. I want to create my own survey that I can send to patients. And with Web Messenger, you can do this in bulk. And you can also do it on the MJog Messenger app as well. And it integrates easily with Desktop GP, which is our easy messaging toolbar. There's no limit to message length. Cool. So benefits to patients then. This is a screen grab from the video that I hope to show you. So I hope we can get that up and running and watch that in a moment. So benefits to patients. They get more information about their health. There is no text length limit, and it can also include videos. If one of your GPs has recorded a YouTube video, you can embed that, or if you just want to put an nhs.uk advice link in there as a button, that's nice and easy too. You might want to put a video of a chief medical officer giving advice, then that's also very easy to do. So they include videos and images, and it's easy to reply to, buttons instead of keyword recognition. How many people have received a message saying, please, I do not want this appointment, I would rather decline it. MJog won't recognize that. So having a button that just says accept or decline, nice and easy. And also patients can opt in and out of Web Messenger. So at the moment, they'll be opted in as standard to Web Messenger, but it's super easy for them to opt themselves out, and they will never receive a Web Messenger message again, and it will default to text message. So more techie bits. We thought people might have questions on this. So it does fall back to SMS if the patient doesn't engage with Web Messenger. So you receive a text message, it has a link in it to view the message, but oh no, you don't have any internet, or it's a older patient who doesn't have a smartphone, for example, and can't use the internet. When they don't click on the link, it then falls back to SMS. So the time limit can be changed there. If it's a really urgent message, you can change it to if they don't look at it within an hour, or etc. So nice and easy for you to configure how you want it. So messages are deleted after a selected time period. This is determined by the practice. Also, some are just deleted because they're no longer valid, for example, after an appointment, etc. They can opt out, and messages are securely delivered, and it works on 98% of smartphones, so that's good. Great, so that is Web Messenger. We have got some other bits to show you, really interesting, cool things, hence the shush. And here's what's coming soon. So Desktop GP. So Desktop GP is our toolbar. It floats on top of EMIS and System 1. It allows easy access to video and text messaging individual patients. In the past, it looked a bit outdated. We're pleased to say that our designers, our UI guys, have all been working really hard, and our toolbar is now looking much more swish, nice and easy to understand and use. So what does the inbox look like? This is just in draft format at the moment, but you can see there a nice, easy inbox. And then if you want to send a message, that's also really easy. There's a drag and drop. So you can drag and drop a file onto there. You can write the codes, use the comments. You can switch to text at any minute that you want to, because this is all already on Web Messenger. You can select a template from a drop-down menu. You can send a message now, or you can schedule it for later. You can send a sequence of messages. The options are endless. So that is really good. I'm just going to answer a question that's just come in. So the question is, what if patients don't have smartphones? So I think the thing that we have there is the fallback to SMS. So if people do not click on the link or it doesn't load, etc., they will get the message as an SMS message. And then they can also opt out of Web Messenger as well by just replying a keyword such as SMS or opt out, for example. And that will solve the fact that if patients don't have smartphones, if you have an audience that you know won't really have smartphones, say you filter by your over 70s, for example, you can then opt them all out in one go as well. So it's completely up to you how you want to use that type of solution. Moving on, we have brilliant desktop GP interface coming soon, and something really exciting, MJog Triage. So this is a sneaky peek. It is not ready yet. We have no release date just yet, but it does work. I have used it, and this video is embedded, so it will work nicely. So as you can see, this is hosted on the internet. It's really easy to respond to, and it's also personalized. So you've got the practice name up here, and you've got the patient name here. And the way that they would access that is they would get sent a message saying, respond to the triage, or you can also have an autoresponder that would be on your website, for example, text triage or text help to the whatever the number is. And then MJog would respond with the triage, which the patient would then fill out, and then it would automatically code back to the patient record. As you can see, we've also got coronavirus screening built in there, etc. So nice and easy to use, personalized for the patient, and it codes back to the patient record. There's no inbox at reception. So that it completely does it for you. It's automatic. So nice and easy way to do things. So coming soon as well, we've got patient photo replies. This is going to be really great. So at the moment, patients can only respond with text messages, and soon they will be able to reply with photos and video as well. Or I say video, I think video is coming later, but photo mainly. So let's answer some questions. What do we have, Fraser and Brendan? Anything that you guys would like to answer live? You can unmute yourselves if you are able to.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I should be there with you. We're getting a number of questions in, all along a very similar ilk, really. Two pieces. One is, what if the patient doesn't have a smartphone? Of course, entirely valid that. And what we're looking at there really is, if they don't have a smartphone, the SMS they receive, we're planning to have essentially an opt-out keyword in there, similar to what they would have if they were opting out of text altogether, in text in stop, for instance. And so if they send in this keyword, then the MJog client will pick that up, understanding that they can't use messages of that type. They would then look to send them the more base, just text message version of that message. I hope that clears out to those people. There is a second common question here asking, what if patients don't have internet or data on their phone? Then essentially it's very much the same answer. If they don't have a compatible handset or just don't want to receive messages in that way, then there'll be an option on the messages to then convert back to purely SMS only. That's kind of the key ones that have come in.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Brendan. It seems like I'm unable to rescue the video, which is a real shame. And well, it seems like GoToWebinar doesn't want to play ball with it. So let me just try and share one more time, and then if not, I will follow up with all the attendees with the video. So the answer looks like a no. No, unfortunately, it's not playing ball. I would run it in a browser window. I would show you, but unfortunately, you wouldn't get any sound, which is not ideal. What I can do is I'll run back through the benefits of what we had, because we have run really, really fast, which is great. However, I want to just show you what it looks like again from a patient perspective. So just to recap, I know we had some questions on this. So recapping on what our patient will receive, they'll receive a normal text message. And that text message there, you can see it contains a link. And that is from the patient name. Somebody has sent you a message regarding your healthcare. You can input your practice name or your GP name in there, whatever your clinician name is. And then when it loads up, and this can be styled in any way that you like, this is just a test from our developer, you will be able to have at the top there a picture of your practice or even your GP, and then a form, a survey, anything that you wish to put in there. It could just be a message, a really long message about their asthma or their weight or blood pressure, etc. And you can also ask for readings. Really easy to respond to. So these buttons are all clickable. Let's just fast forward through to here. So all clickable buttons, and you can configure these yourselves. And think how long this message would have been if it was a normal SMS message. You're talking 5+ segments on this one. And then once you press the send button, which is the little aeroplane down there, it will send for the patient. So you can see that they've booked in a time there, book me for this week, book me for next week. Going to be very good for the upcoming coronavirus vaccine, of which we are planning at MJog. We've got some good plans in place. We're going to be leveraging off our flu clinics. And so that's what it looks like. I'm going to jump back into any questions. Anything else, Brendan or Fraser, before I send the link to all our attendees to watch the video?
People having different questions here. Again, there's a few which are more individual, and we're following up on those as quick as we can. Thank you for sending those in. Primarily, let me just have a scroll. Oh,
there is a few questions about when this will be released, Matt. I don't know if you can shed some light on that.
Of course, yes. So we're hoping to go live with pilot practices next week. So if you really want to get involved nice and early, then please do leave your details. The link that you need is mjog.info/web-messenger. That is also in the chat there. So it's going to be available for pilot practices next week or the week after, but we hope to have a full release before Christmas. And then, of course, upcoming January, February, March, we really should be in our stride. You'll be seeing extra updates to it, even better functionality. But I would imagine, I don't have a firm release date yet, is the honest answer. However, I would expect within the next few weeks, 6 weeks or so, I would say. Don't want to put a hard date on it yet because I'll have a developer wringing my neck at the end of the day. However, that is the sort of timeline we're looking like. So pilot practices first, and then moving on to a wider release. So I'm just going to answer questions as they come in as well. You guys feel free to jump in, Fraser and Brendan. There's a message from Alison on is the desktop GP toolbar live now? So our old version is currently live. The new version of desktop GP, the reskinned version, much easier to use, follows the same timeline. We are going to be looking at that in the next, so it should be released with a new skin on it to some practices by the end of next week, and then afterwards it will go wider release. So how do we get it? I've never seen the toolbar. So desktop GP is an add-on to MJog. However, at the moment we're being very generous, I think is the way to phrase it, on our free trials. So it is currently free for some CCGs and some practices, and Fraser is the best person to get in touch with there, Alison. So we'll ask Fraser to follow up with you. So Katie Williams has asked, when a patient completes a survey, is it automatically coded into the System 1 record? I believe so. Brendan, can you elaborate on that?
provided it has been told to do so. Much like campaigns or other messages like that, then provided you give MJog which codes you want it to use for particular responses, then yes, it can do that. We did have a similar question come in regarding integration with System 1, where are we able to start updating things such as blood pressures and weight and so forth? Not as of yet. We can still do that with EMIS Web, but with the System 1, we're still waiting for that level of integration to be provided to us.
Of course. So we also had a comment come in from Dr. Bart on Twitter asking for a specific comparison with the AccuRx Plus offering, especially on costing. So on costing, we've already put a comparison out there regarding AccuRx Plus. The MJog does come in significantly cheaper, and with Web Messenger, you also will see the savings that you can make. You can essentially most CCGs will actually save more money by getting Web Messenger, that the rest of the MJog for the CCG will essentially become free. That's how the pricing is. It's a very difficult question to answer. I'm not looking to skirt around it as such. It's more it's individual for each CCG. However, depending on the size of CCG, the cost savings are much more dramatic. But you can view that on our mjog.com/versus AccuRx page. How does Triage integrate with Footfall from Michelle? So Triage, like we said, is in very demo stage at the moment. I'm unsure if there's an integration with Footfall. However, we do integrate with Footfall on the video side. So I'm sure, or I would look to hope that our developers are thinking about an integration with Footfall on the Triage side, but I really don't have a firm answer for you, Michelle, unfortunately. Wendy, can a CCG upgrade all the practices automatically, and is there any cost to do this rather than the practices signing up separately? Yes, Wendy, that is the idea. Our sales team will be getting in touch with CCGs. This is something we would look to roll out, CCG wide in one go, and therefore that's where the cost savings come from. So yes, practices will be able to opt out and speak to the CCG to opt out if they want to. However, with the savings to be made, I think that will be unlikely. Jess asks, will you be offering video consultations at some point? Jess, we already offer video consultations. MJog Video is live and has been live for 6 months or more now. That does come free at the moment with Desktop GP, which is really ideal. And yeah, you can use that. You can also plug in other video providers such as Footfall and Whereby and Skype, I believe. Brendan, can you elaborate, or Fraser, on all the other plugins for video? There's quite a few. You can pretty much choose your own provider, I imagine.
There were several. I mean, the key one, or the one that's most commonly picked up, is the MJog provider for it. But yes, without diving into having a look exactly which ones right now, I can't tell you, but there are several, and yes, Skype is certainly one of those. I believe Zoom's one of them as well.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. So we offer, sorry, Matt, to jump in there. We offer Footfall. We've got our own MJog powered one, Skype, Zoho, and Zoom, as Brendan mentioned, is also available for video consultations.
Excellent. Abdul asks, will there be any training available for practices and CCGs on how to use Web Messenger? Yes, we'll be running training sessions alongside this as well. So David has asked, can the patient view the URL on their PC? Yes, they can. That you can essentially load up that URL on any device, should you wish to. What else we got here from Sean? Is there any timeframes for when the new toolbar interface will be released? I think I've touched on that one already. Hopefully within pilot sites, we'll be getting it this week, next week, and then hope to roll out further. We'll keep you updated. What else have we got here? Can we batch send MJog Messenger templates? Yes, I believe Brendan has answered that one on there. For James, you can batch send MJog Messenger templates, and that is where the real cost savings start adding up. Because if you're sending a campaign that's 3 or 4 segments long to 10,000 patients, you're 40,000 segments. So all of a sudden we can reduce that down to 10,000 segments. So the cost savings there, saving on 30,000 segments in one campaign is quite large. Who else do we have here? Individual practices able to register interest to pilot the new toolbar and web messenger. Yes, Sean, if you get in touch with Fraser, I'll ask Fraser to follow up with you. Depending on your practice, we'll be able to help you out with that and to register interest to pilot that. If you want to register for MJog Web Messenger, you need to head to mjog.info/web-messenger. Who else have we got here? Does it work with from Lucy? Does it work with emails if patients do not have a mobile registered? That is a question I do not know the answer to, actually. I'm not sure if Brendan or Fraser know the answer to that right now.
That is something I don't know personally, but I can certainly chase that up for you, Lucy, and get back to you on that one.
Sorry,
unless Brendan has a different answer for that.
Sorry, what was the question there? I was just typing out to another person.
The question there was,
Sorry,
Fraser, the question was, will it work with email? With MJog email?
I mean, it'll work alongside email. Essentially what we have here is a channel to be able to send your messages. So it works alongside email and messages previously that would have gone to the app, and just primarily uses the text message as a notification almost that the patient has got a message and they get to it through the web page. So you'll be creating your smarts templates essentially, and it delivers them out via the web page that they get a link for, as opposed to just receiving it in the app. So it will work alongside email for sure.
Brilliant. Abdul had another message of another question of it'd be nice to see an actual demo of this tool. Certainly, that is something that we'll look to do over the next couple of weeks. Show you how easy it is to use, Abdul. So you'll get an invitation to that for sure. We've got one from Barbara here of does MJog Triage match to patient and with the recording clinical system? Yes, that is the major benefit of the MJog Triage system. So if I just fly through my slides here, sorry if this trips anyone out. What we've got here is, so what happens is to access the MJog Triage system, the patient will be text from MJog. So the triage system will already know who the patient is. So all of these requests, everything going into the triage system will be registered back to the patient. So we've obviously still got a lot of work to do on this, especially around interface and how it looks and the branding of it, etc., etc. However, the functionality is there. All of these questions can be coded back to the clinical system, no problem at all. So that does remove the need for any patient inbox as such for the reception to deal with. Who else do we have here? Any new ones? I think we're almost out of questions, guys. Let's have a little look. Lots of interest in triage. So if the user does not have a smartphone, can the link be entered into a browser? That was from Abdul. Yes, it can. Gemma asks, will this be an additional option as we already have e-consultation? So e-consult that does this. Of course, this is modular. All of MJog is modular. And this is something that you can choose to add on if you want to. I believe there was some significant chatter internally about having a significant free trial on this. But we'll get back to you when we have more information on that. I think that is the last of our questions. If there's no more, I'm going to wrap up. I will follow, there's one last one from Oliver, and then I will end the webinar. Will patients be able to send triage requests on someone else's behalf, such as daughter for her mother, etc.? I'm unsure on that one, Oliver. I think we'll have to get back to you on that. So I think that is coming to the end. I will follow up with you, Oliver, on that question because I'm not sure and I'd like to know myself. So to recap on MJog Messenger, Web Messenger, pilot sites this week, next week, and then full release before Christmas, likely in the next 4 to 6 weeks. It is completely free for CCGs. You can save 50% or more on your SMS costs, and we're just really excited about it. So the video should now be live on our Twitter. That is twitter.com/MJogLimited, LTD. and you'll be able to watch the video on there. It's also in the chat, and I will email a follow-up of that to you. Thanks everyone for attending, and hopefully see you on another webinar soon.